delivered. I ain't been delivered from everything.
Not completely. Hello, I understand that. Okay, shoot, I will deliver some stuff to you. That's what I will do, and I'm all right with that. Okay.
Oh, help me, Black baby Jesus.
I need all of them. I need Black baby Jesus, Mary, Martha, and all of the disciples. So listen, I'm with you. I get it. Yes, ma'am. Doctor, do me a favor.
Yes, love.
Tell me what you're thankful for.
Oh, how much time do we have?
We're over here on this wonderful platform, so we have grace.
Ain't that just like God?
Oh, play now.
Give us grace wherever it is that we are, with whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
As far as what I'm grateful for, life in general.
Yeah.
Having the anointing and the gifts that he's given me. And once I got in alignment with what he has ordained for me, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the things that I have in store for you. Yeah. So once I got clear with that and start walking in that purpose, then I just started seeing God show up and show out in ways that I never thought were even possible. And sometimes I feel like, the parable when he talks about Jesus coming from Nazareth, this person that's not supposed to be of anything. Well, isn't he the baby, the son of, all of this stuff when people think that you shouldn't be anything. But when God touches, my God, when God touches you and says, my child, and puts the covering over you, then you can't do anything but be great in whatever it is that you are doing. So with that coming from the background and the foundation, what it is that I'm grateful for is I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve yet again in whatever capacity that I can, whether it be family, friends, in corporate America, which is another day. But more so in my gifts of what it is that I do as the workplace wizard, and seeing the light bulbs go off with what it is that I'm doing, and people getting the power, the understanding how significant relationships are, and that be both professional and personal, and just embracing those and taking for them whatever it is that God has in store for that particular relationship. Because I believe in seasons, I believe in reasons for people coming into your life. And one of my favorite scriptures that I stand solid on, Romans 8:28, for all things work together for good. And that's the good, the bad. Oh, that's my baby coming in. Hey, my love.
Because I was like, oh, what's that buzz?
I'm not with you today. We're not there. We're not there.
I'm back. Okay. Sorry. I went left real quick. I apologize. Whoa.
Come on, sorry. Songs of Solomon. But anyway, look.
I need tissue.
Tito, give me some tissue.
Lord.
That was the door opening.
I'm sorry.
It was all automated because he was coming in, and I know he was, hey.
I got you. I had overstood. I got it. Sorry.
But anywho, with Romans 8:28 being one of my favorite scriptures and what I stand on, everything works together for good. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It has its purpose. So it's kind of like as you are going through a collegiate, not even a collegiate career, a school pattern all together, a school career, whatever words you want to put on it. You got to finish your freshman year before you can get into your sophomore year, because things in your sophomore, but all things work together for good. Regardless what it is that is happening, and it has a purpose. So as I was saying with a school career, an educational career, there are certain things that you have to learn and get first before you can be elevated to your next level. So if you get past, my God, I hear that tweet. If you get passed through without learning what it is that you need to learn, you're going to have to go back and repeat the grade again until you get the lessons learned, and then you can move forward. You got to pass all of the tests, which shows that you have learned, and now you can move forward.
Absolutely. There's stages to it because you got to have growth. You won't be able just to get to the end if you don't. You have to matriculate through the process. So if you're not going
Absolutely.
through it, oh, you're going to get lost. Oh, geez. How did you become the workplace wizard? And this is a twofold question. And with you having your spiritual life, did those two ever collide? Like people always, church folk or Christians will say, oh my God, wizardry. Does that ever?
Mm. See, I had never thought about it that way, and let me tell you why. It's because of how Workplace Wizard came about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm real big, as I said, on relationships, and in my corporate careers, in my adult careers, in my entrepreneurial career, I saw how people related, and with the whole DE&I thing, which really is all relationships, learning how to talk to people and learning how to work with people. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, and watching that and looking at how people move, those teams that were extremely successful versus those teams that were just mediocre, it's like, okay, what is it that makes this team different?
Okay.
And I saw it was the relationships that they had. So that comes from my multi-level marketing, MLM, direct sales, all of that, just watching that part of it. And that's, again, on the entrepreneurial journey. In the professional realm, as far as corporate America, when I worked in accounts payable, having to reconcile those credit cards, the corporate cards,
looking. Oh, I didn't like that.
Look, and math was not my favorite subject in school. Okay.
As long as I have Excel and a calculator, I'll excel.
That part. That part. But as I say, you grow where you're planted. So I began to grow in that position. And when I noticed when I would ask for receipts, I pretty much got the receipts in a timely manner. Versus the other people on my team, it took them longer to get what they needed.
Wow. Okay.
The reason is because I built relationships with the people. And it's just like when you see certain emails or you see people coming around, is depending on, again, the relationships. I hate to be redundant with that word, but based off of the relationship that you have with them, that's going to determine how quickly, how zealous you are to do whatever it is that they ask of you. So if you've got a great relationship with someone, then no matter what's on your plate, even if it's a platter, not even a plate, if it's a platter and it's completely full because XYZ person asked you to do it, you're going to be willing to do it with no problem at all. You're going to figure out how to get it done simply because of who that person is. The flip side to that coin is if you don't have a great relationship with this person and they ask something of you, then you're going to do it because of your character. But there's not going to be as much zeal to getting it done. It's just going to be a task to knock off of your to-do list. So once I really began to understand that, then I'm like, okay, there is power in relationship building in every aspect. And then one of my sitting around, because I love movies. I'm a movie guru. I will sit and binge and watch movies, TV all day long. As an only child, that's what I had to entertain me as a kid. So now as an adult, I look at the stories because yes, what to say, train a child as she would go, and once she's old, she will not depart.
They won't depart.
So I have not departed from it. So with that said, I like a lot of documentaries. I like a lot of drives my mom crazy sometimes, crime shows. That type of genre is what I can just sit and watch all day long. I can marathon it all day long. Reason that I like those is because it helps me understand the psyche of people. What would make someone do X, Y, Z? And a lot
motivates them.
Yes. So a lot of times I will say before the narrator says X, Y, Z, and it matches up exactly. So it's like, okay, you onto something here. But anywho, going back to the movies, as a child, my favorite movie was The Wiz.
Okay.
No shade on The Wizard of Oz, but look at The Wiz
understood.
resonated with me. I could identify with the characters a little bit better in The Wiz versus The Wizard of Oz.
Makes sense.
So I was watching that yet again. in my adult years, and I saw through different
Mhm.
lenses, because DE&I and relationships is my thing.
Mhm.
I saw through that lens.
Mhm.
I looked at Dorothy. She's the
Mhm.
team leader, the
Yeah.
visionary.
Okay.
She has her team of the Scarecrow, the Lion,
Mhm.
the Tin Man,
Yeah.
and they all have to work together with
Mhm.
their different pedigrees, their different backgrounds, their different
Okay.
skill sets that
Mhm.
they bring to the table. They
Mhm.
have to work together to get to the common goal of going to see
Mm.
the
Mm.
the
Mhm.
wizard.
Mhm.
So when I looked at that, I was like, dang,
Uh-huh.
that's what we do on teams.
Yeah.
That's what we do in organizations. So
Okay.
why not transfer it and
Mhm.
use the
Uh-huh.
lessons learned
Okay.
that they basically taught you then. Now that I'm an adult, I have a
Mhm.
wider scope. My knowledge has grown, has expanded.
Okay.
Take that and simplify it, because it really is simple. It's
Mhm.
all about relationships. So
Yeah.
I believe in professional development and training, or whatever realm you want to put that in, when you
Mhm.
make things very simple,
Mhm.
not dumb them down,
Right.
but make them simple for people to retain,
Mhm.
and for it to be palatable for them, then
Mhm.
once they leave the door
Yeah.
of training, they are
Okay.
able to then execute it once they go on the other side.
Mm. Okay.
So that's why I use childhood stories. And right now, again, my
Mhm.
favorite being The Wiz. So that's
Yeah.
where Workplace Wizard came from,
Got it.
because I'm all about organizational culture.
Okay.
And whether that be B2B or
Uh-huh.
B2C,
Uh-huh.
it's still relationships, and you
Uh-huh.
have to still understand people. So now
Right.
the flip side of Workplace Wizard,
Mhm.
the other side of that coin, is my other baby, where
Okay.
I focus really hone in on on relationships versus
Okay.
Workplace Wizard, which is more about leadership.
Okay.
Um, I
They
use
still work hand in hand though.
They do.
Uh-huh.
They really do.
Mhm.
So with retaining the talent, I use candy. Every
Okay.
kid
Uh-huh.
enjoys candy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know nary kid that has not enjoyed some type of candy. And
I still
because
do. I still do. I love it.
right, and look, train a child in the way that, and
I ain't departing from that, okay?
right. So with understanding personalities,
Yeah.
I use candy to demonstrate that. So
Okay.
let's say, okay, I say this particular, I don't know, characteristic is related to Twizzlers. Okay, I'm just going to use part of what it is when I talk.
Mhm.
So I pull out Twizzlers.
Okay.
Well, as you know, Twizzlers is kind of twisted up.
Mhm.
We got some folk that's like, okay, you're a little twisted, you're a little special today.
Mhm.
What's
Mhm.
really going on? So
Yeah.
now I have something tangible for you to remember, that you're
Mhm.
also going to take with you, because I give out my candy. I don't keep all of
Okay.
that with me. I give out my
Good.
candy. But
Uh-huh.
then you can easily identify, you can call out what a particular personality is. So
Mhm.
next time you see them, or you see XYZ trait
Mhm.
characteristic, you can be like, ah, that's a
Mhm.
Twizzler.
Okay.
Ah, that's extra.
Mhm. Uh, uh-huh.
That's Mr. Goodbar. Ah,
Uh-huh.
that's your payday.
Okay.
That's 100 grand, or whatever it is, whatever candy that resonates with you.
Uh-huh.
So you get a sweet treat from me, while
Uh-huh.
also expanding your knowledge on personalities. So
Okay.
that's how the Workplace Wizard has come about. And it's just making things very simple. Life really ain't difficult.
Okay. It ain't. But I know I tell you, depending upon the day that it'll be, I might be a turtle.
People really, the girl, I'm not playing with you today.
I said
I'm not
depends
playing
on the
with
day. Listen, just saying. Depends on the day. I might be a turtle. I'm a
you.
little slow. Still sweet. I'm still
Women,
kind
I
of
got
filling.
sweet tarts, I got
Uh-huh.
slow pokes, I mean, it's all kind, it just depends on what kind of candy I see
Uh-huh.
that day, that
Mhm.
I can make it applicable to what it
Yeah,
is that's going on.
that makes
Um,
sense.
so it just, again, it's taking it and simplifying it so that we can have better cultures
Mhm.
within our organizations,
Right.
whether that be, and you can look at that in so many different types of organizations, whether
Mhm.
that be a church organization, whether that be a
Sure.
corporate organization, whether it
Mhm.
be the organization within your home.
Okay.
Let's be
Because
real
that is,
clear.
we neglect that because I think that that's something that's that we just really kind of avoid. We don't think that that's an organization. That's like, I won't call it really a business, but that is something fundamental, that stuff starts at home first before it go out. Okay, charity starts at home, then spreads
Right.
abroad. So
Hey, you. I am Tiffany Rochelle. I'm an author, speaker, and a heart coach, as well as the host of the Hear My Heart show. What I do is I encourage women to rid the toxins from their hearts and to set goals that are true to you. I have a few things that I would like for you to consider to help to enhance you. The first thing I would like to offer you is my coursework on forgiveness. Allow me to help you walk through the journey of forgiveness. As forgiveness, it starts with you first. Next is my book, I Choose Me. And the other one is Gold Digger. Lastly, I have a journal for you to write it all out. And it's a chance for you to be honest with you. So take the step today and let's get ready for a change. Go to my website, www.beautiful.me, and let's get started. Make sure you follow me on all of the social media platforms. My handle is going to be the People's Cheerleader, so you can stay encouraged and always be in the know of what's happening. Grace and peace.
okay, charity starts at home, then spreads abroad. So how we are organized, how we are well built together, what the foundation is like at home matters, because it's going to spew off when we go out in public and deal with individuals in the workplace, in the grocery store, at the park, movies, wherever we go. Whatever you're like at home is kind of going to spill over, and you're going to see it. So we got to know what we're like together.
Yep. So a parent with kids that are still at home, that are that they're growing that are still living at home from, infancy or what have you. They're going through the stages, remember, because you got to get through one part before you can elevate and go to the next level.
Absolutely.
But you see them in their natural environment, and you get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's when your negotiation skills come into play. Your influencing skills come into play. All of that, as a manager of the house, you got to figure out how to make this thing work, because you know that you need to do X, Y, Z, and this person is not cooperating with you. They having a temper tantrum in the middle of the floor. They don't want to do this. You need them to put on their uniform for school, but no, they want to put on a Halloween costume and go to school. I'm sorry, we're not having that today. This is what I need you to do. We got to make it work. I got to figure out, as the manager, how to get you to do what it is that I need / want you to do. And that's not in a manipulative way, per se. Per se.
I'm not putting on the negative connotation with the manipulation, because I think sometimes we have the negativity that's associated. Oh, you're manipulative. To a degree, I think everybody does need to have, and I talked to my son about this just yesterday. And so I think that there is a level of manipulation that we all have to have. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative that we're viewing that, oh, you're manipulative. I do have to manipulate certain things to make things happen. I got to know how you operate, and how I can get them to operate together. But it doesn't have to be a negative thing about that.
Absolutely. So there's not a negative connotation that's always affiliated with manipulation.
Absolutely. So you sound very resilient in my brain. From what I'm hearing from you, you are very, how do you cultivate resilience in your everyday life?
Ooh. In the words of Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. I see a bigger picture. I'm a visionary. I see further down than just what is right here. As a kid, and even my mom, gosh, into my early 20s, she would always regurgitate. She would continue to tell me, you are not your situation.
Come on. Okay.
You are not your situation. So even when I hit those stumbling places and I was frustrated and aggravated, and those times you just want to give up, and it's like, I can't do this no more. This is for the birds. Let me move forward. Then I had to constantly remind myself what my mother instilled in me was, you are not your situation. You are greater than what this is. So because that was instilled in me, then I'm looking bigger. I'm looking further. My scope is wider than what it is that's right here, which actually is a great segue for my book that I just launched.
Come on, talk about it.
Bipolar Faith, a roller coaster ride of spiritual resilience and emotional vulnerability.
Okay. So talk to us about that.
Who child? Okay.
You can't segue and drop something and then not tell me about it. I have questions all of the time, so I'm gonna find out. Okay.
So with that book, it started as me being a contributing author of a book that was entitled Battle Behind My Smile.
Ooh.
And
These sound
just
like two books I need.
that resonate. I'll make sure that you have them. I have them at home, and I can ship them out by tomorrow to you. Okay. So you can just send me your address, and I'll make sure that you get them. But from that book, Battle Behind My Smile, obviously the title, you can kind of figure out what the whole book was about. Different testimonies about resilience and moving forward and continuing to push through. Well, my chapter was Bipolar Faith.
Wow. Okay.
And, yes, I am doctor, but I'm not medical doctor. So I can't tell you all of the nuances that come with bipolarism. However, I understand the basics of bipolarism, which is simply double-mindedness.
Sure. Okay.
And makes that's sense. The angle that I come from with it. But anywho, in the book, Battle Behind My Smile, with that being my chapter, Bipolar Faith, I talk about a candid conversation that I have with God. And bipolar faith for me, my definition of it is, yes, I understand what word says, but my situation ain't matching your word, Lord. Where you at? Okay. You using the Ebonics and just straight up, being
look, here it is,
grammatically correct. But this ain't matching, make it make sense. This math ain't math, and whatever you want to put on it, Lord, this is what you said, but I ain't feeling it right now. I'm not feeling you will never leave me forsake me. You have left me, and just having those candid conversations, just like I'm having a candid conversation with you now. I was having that with God. And I go through one of those conversations. Literally me saying this, God, silence. Me saying this, God, silence. Me dealing with this, blessing people, pouring into people when I stepped outside of my front door. But when I got home, my life looked totally different from what it was that I was able to pour and to bless and to build people up with. So I do, it's kind of like double dutch. You got to get your rhythm. It's like, okay, let me figure this out. Come on, girl. You got to get your rhythm. You got to get, you got folk on the outside just twirling the ropes, but you got to figure out how to get in there and how to make it work. And then once you get in there, you got your rhythm. But then lo and behold, you have this one thing, somebody miss on that rope, and that throws your whole rhythm off. And you got to go through it all over again. But anyway, in my candid conversation with God, I just tell him, look, I ain't feeling you right now. I'm not feeling.
That's honest.
Very honest, very transparent in that. And I need you to do you and show up and show out and let me know that you are still here with me. Not that this is a negotiating thing that I'm going to do this if you do that type of thing. But I need you to show up because I'm not feeling you right now. And I know what my word says, but I don't feel that. And let's just be real transparent and real honest here. The carnal side of us will kick in.
Sure.
And we like, all that religious stuff just goes by the wayside. But again, if you're trained in the right way, you're going to come back around to it. Absolutely. And that's going to be what is your strength. So that chapter remains one of the top 5 chapters talked about in that book. And from that, as I was writing, God said, you need a whole book, not a chapter.
Okay.
We need to expand this thing more than what it is. And it was affirmed by it's continuing to be one of the top 5 chapters in the book.
Wow. Okay.
About. So with taking that chapter and moving it to a full book, you'll see that I expand that conversation. And then I do spiritual stories, biblical stories. And I bring them into tangible applicable things. I told you I'm very practical in everything that I do, making it make sense. So I Because if not, you ain't gonna be able to survive.
You're not. I need to know, how does this apply, especially if we're looking at biblical principles, and depending upon what version you look at it, how does back then apply to right now? So I need to know. So if somebody can translate and make it make sense from their past to make it live right now. Oh, okay. Light comes on. All right, I can do this. So that makes sense.
And that's exactly what I did in my book, Bipolar Faith. So, with that, you get some great tools to help you in those places where you're like, okay, what's really happening here? Where you at, Lord? I need some substance to help carry me through, because I cannot, like Joseph, I cannot hold my hands up anymore. I need something. So in this case, it's the tools to be able to continue to hold my hands up so that I can continue to fight.
Gotcha. Do you believe forgiveness is essential to personal growth?
Oh, girl, yes. You can't get absolutely. So that actually was part of my first book, which was Grow Through the Pain, Stand in Your Power. Grow through the pain, stand in your power. And I talked about forgiveness in that book. So, part of this that really stands out for me, which I loved, and it was a big part of my transition in truly understanding forgiveness. I had just gotten out of a relationship.
Okay. That side eye is strong. You hear me?
So he decided that he could do better without me and as a single man than he could with me, despite the contributions and the asset that I was to him. But that's neither here nor there. That's just the place that I was in at the time.
Sure.
And it was, okay, ride with me. You remember that song, Blue Cantrell? I bust someone to your car? Well, that's the way I was feeling. I told you the carnal side wanted to do all of that.
I bust the windows out. Okay, I'm sorry.
That one right there. So that was in me on the carnal side, but I wasn't that petty, but I had some petty. I never knew I had petty in me until that. But anyway, I just didn't operate in my pettiness, but some things will bring some things out of you that you didn't know that you had. But anywho, out of that, God said and told me, now this was shortly after going through fasting and prayer.
Sure. All the things that happen after fasting and prayer, huh?
Oh, girl, the revelation. And he said, do you want to be right or do you want to be free?
Ooh, how about that? Now that's a question.
Do you want to be right or do you want to be free? And it was at that point, because I choose freedom all day long. I don't always have to be, even if I am right. I don't always have to portray that and force that down somebody's throat, down their neck, and pin them in the corner to say this is what it is that you need. But I chose my freedom, and in my freedom, that was based off of forgiveness. So I had to release that energy from me that I was harboring, because nothing else could come to me. I couldn't be blessed with anything else because that was still sitting in my space. It was occupying space where nothing else could come in. So I had to release that, and that releasing that for him, the forgiveness of him. But here's the thing. The biggest forgiveness was for me. I had to forgive myself for allowing that to happen. And once I captured that power of forgiveness and what it did, and removing that weight off of my shoulders of holding on to the unforgiveness, and trying to be right, the freedom that you have of releasing it. And just because it was forgiven doesn't necessarily mean that I had to re-engage in that. I forgave and I released it. And I moved forward. And once I did that, but when I tell you, God said, okay, now you got that off your plate, let me put what I really had in store for you on your plate and helping you grow. So yes, forgiveness is huge for me. It's huge for me. And especially now in walking in my anointing and my gifts and in my purpose. I can't do that. Unforgiveness holds you hostage. It will paralyze you, and you just can't move. It's like you're in quicksand, 10 toes down. You ain't going nowhere but further down, sinking. So what was that old song? All other ground is sinking sand. That just popped in my
Uh-huh.
head.
It did. I know what you're talking about. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But in that place of forgiveness, now you have the power to rise up like a sphinx and go do what it is that you need to go do and what you call to do. I say everything in our life is about a calling, and if we're not in sync, then literally all hell breaks loose around us, and we don't have peace, we don't have harmony. But when you're clear, when you have that clarity on where it is that you need to be going, then it's freeing. It is so freeing. And once you experience freedom, you don't want to go back to bondage.
Right.
You don't want to go back to bondage.
I
so
am
what's
free
my take on,
and I'm loose. Don't want to be bound ever again. That ain't for me. That is not my ministry. That is not my lot. I never want to be bound again. The Lord delivered me. Why should I be bound? I ain't doing it no more. So I get that.
That part. So that's what forgiveness is for me.
Oh, that is major. I absolutely love that. Tell me this. You have our ears. What would you want the lovers and friends to remember when we hear your name? So since you have our ears, let's hear what's on your heart. What is your final words you want us to know?
Ooh. Just like look, all I'm gonna say is I want to be like the thief on the cross talking to Jesus. Remember me. Okay.
Oh, come on. Well, give us an address where we can remember you at. How do we follow you and all that stuff then? How about that?
So you can go directly to my site, Dr.Tajiri.com. You can find out more about the Workplace Wizard and what it is that we do as far as professional development and corporate training. You can also find me on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Okay, I have a TikTok account, but girl, I'm still trying to figure that and process that. I got a what's the other one that is equivalent to X?
Well, I don't know. What, Threads?
Yeah. Okay. See, I got that account too, but I ain't active on it. I'm not. So if you really want to engage with me, then hit me up on either Facebook, Instagram. So let me give these in order for you. Facebook.
And the handle is what on Facebook?
You can find me under Dr. Tajiri Brackens. Dr.
Okay.
Tajiri Brackens. But once they start typing in Dr. Tajiri, they'll see my pretty little face. In fact, they'll see this picture. Let me see which way. Right here.
Nope,
they'll
that
see
one.
this picture that let you know that is the right person. That you've got the right person there. So I'm more active on my Facebook, and then my Instagram and LinkedIn are kind of neck and neck there as far as my next level of activity. So you can either, again, through the website or either of those platforms. I strongly suggest through the website because, things happen with technology.
Absolutely.
Facebook can decide they want to get ignorant. I said ignorant, not ignorant. There is a difference.
No, there is a huge difference. There's a huge difference.
Yes, you can still stay connected with me and not miss any of hashtag Tajiri's Nuggets, not miss any of these jewels. That's the best way to be able to contact me.
Okay. So are you doing that hashtag so we can follow that actual hashtag?
Yes, I do have that hashtag Tajiri's Nuggets.
Stuff. Oh, I absolutely love it. I have to tell you, you're a phenomenal individual. From the day you prayed with me and prayed me through. Glory to God. Hallelujah. I'm so grateful. I'm so sincere. Like that was a day. That was a day. I promise you, I felt like my whole phone shut down. I couldn't get access to too much of anything. So when I talked to you, you were like, hey, you just stepped in and went into prayer. I said, she don't know how much she blessed me. I have to tell her that I need you to understand with my whole heart. I real life appreciate you for that. Because there's sometimes, people will say to you like, oh, I'm praying for you. And I appreciate that because I am one of the people. If I tell you I'm praying for you, real life, I am. I may not just jump into it in that moment, but then it feels phenomenal when someone says, I'm praying. Never mind. Okay, so listen, here we go. So kind Father, and go. So I appreciated that moment because it was in that moment I needed that then. So thank you for listening.
What you need when you need it. And you don't know where it's going to come from. So that's why you have to be, I believe that you have to be open to every situation. Again, going back to where I started in the beginning, Romans 8:28, for all things work together for good.
Yeah.
You never know what he's sending you what it is that you need. You the fool that ain't open your eyes to see what it is that he's sending that's right in front of you. Your blessing
It's
is
right
right in
there.
front of you. It's
It's
like
right
this.
there.
I told you I do a lot of TV watching. Now
Mhm.
it's this Fiverr commercial with Martha
Okay.
Stewart, and
Uh-huh.
she's bringing them coffee. Somebody's gonna know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
She's bringing these employees coffee.
Uh-huh.
She's just the assistant, and their
Oh,
tagline in that is sometimes your best talent is right up under your nose.
wow.
Uh-huh. So what it is that you need, you can be discounting it because it doesn't, my God, it doesn't come in the
Mm.
package that you are looking for it to be in.
That's
So
good
that's why you
stuff.
got to embrace everything, everybody that comes to it. And my prayer now these days is, God, use me. God, send me the people that I need and that need me. Let me be the
Yeah.
vehicle.